fresh outside. It is super cold this week. Oh my god. I purposely come out without a scarf and left it in the car so that I walk faster. So we're in a bit of a hurry today. It is Thursday, the 11th of January. I am out just behind Castle Combe, sort of Ford Way, not far from Chippenham, just giving the dogs a nice big walk before I drop them off at their boarding kennels. And I make my merry way to just outside Cambridge, actually, a place called Haverhill in Suffolk, because tomorrow I have a mastermind day with my lovely coach, who I'm not actually working with anymore, but I was working with last year, Bernadette. So she is running a mastermind day tomorrow at a place called Preston Hall. She works a lot with wedding suppliers, lots of wedding planners. So there's going to be 9 of us tomorrow getting super clear with our goals and setting out a strategy for the year ahead. So I'm super excited to get organised with all of that, because it's just been busy. It's been busy between Christmas and New Year, busy start to the year, and I've literally got it blocked out in my diary for 2 weeks to sit down and do my goal setting, my planning, and I just haven't had a chance to do it. So I need the accountability to physically go somewhere, which in this case involves a 3.5 hour drive, to sit down and do it. So I'm staying at my sister's this evening, it's about 45 minutes from Preston Hall, so I get to catch up with her, and I'm going to see my niece briefly in the morning. So she's going out with her dad to London because they're off to a gig tonight. So it's just my sister and I cozied up, having a good old chinwag and a giggle, I'm sure, this evening. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling on and get this walk done. I'm struggling with breath here, but I will switch the camera on tomorrow and show you what we get up to, and hopefully give you some ideas for you if you haven't quite got to your 2024 planning yet. I'm about halfway through my drive. It is 4:05 p.m. I've never been so happy to see a service station, because I was busting for a wee, which I've been for, and I'm also very hungry. My water intake is up super high, so I'm on 5 to 6 litres a day now. So I had 2 before I left the house. I've had this one and half of this one. So what are we, 2, 3.5, 4.5 sort of litres down. So that explains why I need to have a wee. I mentioned on my last episode that I was starting with a new coach on Monday, and that is what I have done. So a bit about my diet. I've got chicken, rice and salad in here, which I'm going to eat now. This morning, well, as we're on a training day, this morning I had a thin bagel, 2 bacon medallions and an egg. And then I also had my oats as well. So 80 grams of oats, 50 grams of frozen berries and 20 grams of protein powder. I've got all my food for this evening as well. Not planning on competing, but I love doing this because it makes me feel organized, and also it just stabilizes my body. And as I say to all my clients and say to everybody, our bodies love consistency, and when we're consistent with our food and we're eating the right things at the right times and consistently with it, then it just balances our hormones, it balances our energy, our mental state as well, and it just allows you to be so much more focused and productive with all areas of life, and you know, whatever you're doing. In my case in particular at the moment, it's work. After I've had my 120 grams of rice, 100 grams of chicken and 150 grams of salad, which would be 200, but I really couldn't pack any more salad in here. I've got my 100 grams of beef mince, 120 grams of rice and 100 grams of broccoli. Also have some yogurt to have, which I've also bought, 150 grams of yogurt in there with some blueberries and some flavor drops from my protein. Loving the strawberry, it's super tasty. Also some chocolate as well, some dark chocolate, which should be 85%, but oh no, sorry, it should be 90%, but I can only find 85, and these are quite yummy actually. These are from Aldi. So that's that. Tomorrow's definitely going to be a no training day, and I haven't actually done a no training day yet. I was supposed to take it today, but because I'm traveling, I've just done an extra workout, and then I'll take a rest day tomorrow. However, I'm at this mastermind and they're providing lunch, and I want to participate with everybody. If I was prepping for a show, obviously completely no go, I would not be off plan, but you know, I want to join in and just, you know, be sort of sensible about it. But what I have done is packed up, I'm not sure what they're serving for lunch, but I always like to make sure I've got protein. So I've got these two, I've got 100 grams of chicken in each if I need to kind of top up my protein tomorrow. No big shakes if not. I did make myself a bagel that I had this morning, so I will have my breakfast like normal tomorrow. So these are just some backup oats for tomorrow, and also for today if I'm hungry, because I didn't have my 2 crumpets and jam, which I normally have post-workout. Yeah, it's been a really good first week. I'm loving my new training plan, really loving it. Just I'm hurting every single day, which is good, which is great, because you know, I'm hitting new muscles, and you have that energy when you're starting with something new. You just have that energy and motivation for it because it's exciting, right? And that's why it's so important to like change things up. And as I said before, I was very much going through the motions with my training and all of that, so it's really great to be working with Mads, and yeah, I'm excited to see where we go. But the other thing is, speaking of fitness, nutrition, health in particular, is I got my cycle back on Monday, which I forgot how much of a bitch hormones are. So Tuesday was an absolute write-off. Like my brain literally was not working, so I just had to set the day off, and I just sat binging Netflix, which is totally not me, and I rarely ever do. But you know, there's no point trying. When you feel like that, there's no point trying. I've had these days, as I'm sure we all do, so many times to know that it's not always going to be like that, and there'll be a better day, and it's better to leave my workload for when I'm in a much more productive and better mood to do things, because it's only going to take me about 6 times as long to do something, if I even get it done, on a bad day as it would on a good day, when I could probably whittle through the task in, you know, an hour or something like that, or even a few minutes. So yeah, just feeling overwhelmed, really lethargic on Tuesday. Had motivation for the workout again because it's new and exciting, but just generally the workload kind of got parked. And I was back on form yesterday, full of beans yesterday morning. I'm not too sure what's been going on with my body, but it's now saved me a doctor's appointment because I was going to book one in. My last cycle was in July. I'm, you know, pretty much the heaviest I've been in a couple of years, so that's what was worrying me. I didn't think that was the issue. My cycle's been very inconsistent. I had a cycle in January, February, March, and then nothing, and then it came back in June, and then it like disappeared again. So I'm really pleased to have it back. We're going to keep it back this time, which is also, you know, another reason I'm not planning on competing. I don't want to muck around with my body anymore. Again, never say never, it is me. But yeah, it's just good to know that I am healthy and everything's in working order as well. And I, you know, got into bad habits with nutrition. Again, I think I mentioned that on the last episode. And what's nice about working with a coach is that I know what to eat, I just don't do it. I know what to train, I just don't do it. I know I should change things up, I just don't do it. It's that accountability, which is just so important. You know, people think, oh, why should coaches have coaches? It's like, because we know the value of it. And when you run your own business, when you're calling all the shots, when you have all the responsibilities, when everything is with you, it's so nice to have someone else to tell you what to do, and it just eliminates all that overthinking, which so many of us are prone to doing, and it just streamlines everything. It just makes everything so much easier. My training, I will show you at some point. I'm training 5 days a week. Cardio is minimal at 15 minutes just on training days, and heart rate sort of 140, so no big shakes there. I am on 10,000 steps a day, which is super manageable. In fact, already now I'm on 11,500, so easy peasy with the dogs. Anyways, I'm gonna eat this because I am bloody hungry, and I will see you either later this evening or probably tomorrow when I'm on my way to the mastermind. Good morning, it's Friday and it's 7:33 a.m. I've been walking for about an hour now, 5.5k. I just don't feel right unless I get my morning walk in, and also I want to hit my step goal today, and I'm going to be in the car on another 3.5 hour drive later, and also sitting at a table planning out my 2024 for most of the day, which is awesome, but does mean there'll be limited activity. So I've got up at 5:30 this morning, had a shower, no makeup on, and just gone for a little wander, grabbed my cappuccino. Just heading back to the house now, and I will put my face on, do my hair, and then I will be on my merry way to Preston Hall, which is where our mastermind is today. So I will see you in a little bit. And I'm shipping off early from the mastermind day, but it's been super lovely, or absolutely freezing because I've had workmen here that have been leaving all the doors open, and it's like 0 degrees today. But I'm just gonna get in the car, and I think the best thing would be for me to have a chat with you while I'm driving. I did not think this through. It is super dark. I hope you can see me. I'm well into my journey on the way home after literally just taking an emergency detour to Maidenhead to find a garage because I literally thought I was going to pee my pants. I am now 5 litres of water down, and it was all very well when I was at Preston Hall near a toilet, but not so much on the motorway. And there was an accident on the M25 which held me up, so yeah, a bit long. Anyway, I'm about an hour and 15 minutes away. In total this journey's probably going to be about 4 hours. So in the last 24 hours I've done what I would have done about 8 hours on the road. So yeah, it's been like full on. However, what I am doing is catching up on podcasts, and I do love my driving time because I just have to listen to podcasts so I can get my education. So sometimes it's fitness, nutrition podcasts. The last 2 days I'm currently listening to Jay Shetty's On Purpose. Normally my drives feature Diary of a CEO and Mo Gaudat, but this time who else? Dr. Chatterjee and Dr. Tara. That was a couple of hour episode that I listened to yesterday. I'm just getting all fired up after my lovely strategy session. So about that, we basically worked through these workbooks here, and still a lot of work to be done. This is the thing with planning and strategizing, like it can't be done in one session. You need to think about things, and often when you define your goals and then you start breaking them down, you realize there's lots of information that you're missing, there's people that you're missing, there's all these things that need to be taken into account. So it's something I'm definitely going to be sitting down properly with this weekend. I do have a nice clearish weekend, well, clearish Saturday. I'm meeting a friend for lunch and a walk on Sunday, which is going to be ongoing for the next couple of weeks. So I've got a nice little to-do list of some people I need to speak to in terms of getting some help with things. But the day was really great, and just really nice to do it intentionally with people. And you know, that's why these things are called a mastermind, because when you're together in a group, it all creates this mastermind of all of you, and you can help each other out with stuff, share insights, share stories, and it's just so beneficial to be in the company with others. And also you're forced to sit there and actually do it, because it's very easy to, you know, get fired up with a goal, start chunking it down, and then start talking yourself out of it when you realize the amount of work that needs to be done and how many pieces there are. So it was just great to be in that group atmosphere with people and just working through it together. It was really great to meet some people in person as well. That's super important. And there was a couple of planners. I met a really lovely new planner, Charlotte, who I've not met before. Another planner who I've technically worked with on weddings, although the bride has booked us directly. But quite often when we're working on wedding days, we don't really get to connect with people. Everyone's doing their jobs, everyone's busy. In this case, actually Louise, who was the planner on this job last summer, and I were in completely separate locations. I was with the bride at the hotel and she was on site. So, you know, we don't get a chance to properly connect, which is why it's really important to attend these sort of events and just, you know, really nurture those relationships. Another way we do this in the wedding industry is on styled shoots where we all collaborate together. So we'll have, you know, photographers, florists, cake makers, hair and makeup, videographers and planners, and and then the venue, of course, and we all get together and we create these like epic dream shoots that wouldn't necessarily be what people would book, but you know, we pull out all the stops and we get to demonstrate the true capacity of what we are capable of in terms of our creativity, and those are just the best to work on, and they're lots of fun. It's no pressure, we're all collaborating on it, and yeah, it's just a really lovely creative process, and that's where important relationships are built. So you know, it's not about connecting on the jobs, it's connecting off the jobs, and it's really important to make time for those things and book that sort of stuff in activities like today. Hence why I drove 3.5 hours to do a strategy session that I potentially could have done online, because it's not about that. It's about the energy in the room, it's about the people in the room, it's about the relationships, and it's about what you create together and what you can break through together individually, if that makes sense. So anyway, I've got my work cut out for sure. I'm kind of working on 2 businesses here. I'm working for CJC on that side of things with weddings and events, and also corporate. I've got some plans there for working more with corporates. We do work with some at the moment, but I would like to work with more. And then there's the coaching side for me, which high performers is definitely the way to go after breaking stuff down in the session today. Just looking at everything and the most impact that I can make, and also how much time I have to deliver things, this is going to be the way to go for me. So anyway, lots to think about. I often find with these types of events, and also, you know, when I go to seminars, you can get like all fired up and buzzing, and it's great that I've got this long journey home to process things. Then, you know, the next day it's like, right, we need to put a plan in place, because otherwise you can just feel totally overwhelmed. You're back in your like normal environment, everything's kind of normal and the same, and you just fall back into your sort of old ways and old patterns of behavior and old habits. So I'm very mindful of that. I want to get nailing the whole strategy this weekend as much as possible, and start booking it into the diary, not for next week to all be done in a week, but to plan it over the whole year and just break down all those little steps that I need to make to ensure that like no stone has been left unturned, and I give myself the best possible chance of getting there. And one of those things is onboarding other people to A, help me out, and B, hold me accountable to it, because the more I talk about the things that I'm going to do, the more likely I am to do them. So that's definitely one of my top tips for reaching your goals. But anyway, I'm going to get back to Jay Shetty, and I'm going to leave it here for this little episode, and I will be back with another one very, very soon.